Shabbat Shalom
Shabbat Shalom.
for our services tonight. And I'd like to thank you all for being here. And I hope you will enjoy the service tonight. We will start on page 2 with lighting of the Shabbat candle by Jackie.
Lucky we're not in a boat because the room would tilt this way. Okay. Let's see if I can just get one out here.
Oh, is there wine for the Kiddush?
Oh.
I'll get a glass one.
You ready, Cindy? Okay.
The Kiddush cup, that's perfect.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lechad likner shel Shabbat. Amen. All right, and now Fred will lead us in the Kiddush.
We'll now turn to page 5 for the Kiddush. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech olam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav ratzavonu v'shabas kadsho b'ahava uvratzon inkailonu zikaron lemase v'reishi ki hu yom techilo lemikroei kodesh zecher letzias mitzrayim ivanu v'charta yosanu kidashta mikol ha'amim Shabbos kodshecha yava uvratzon hin kaldanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. We'll now turn to page 6, and Jackie will read, "May the door of the synagogue."
Let's read this responsively, please. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship.
May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture.
May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
The synagogue be for all who enter the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. Now we'll turn to page 12, and Jackie will lead us in Lachuna Ranana.
Lechune ranena, lechune ranena, lechune ranena, l'Adonai. Lechune ranena, lechune ranena, lechune ranena, l'Adonai. Naria, naria, letzuri shenu, kadma fana betoda. Tsuri Shenu Bizmirot Narialo Lechune Ranina Lechune Ranina Lechune Ranina Ladonai Lechune Ranina Lechune Ranina Lechune Ranina Ladonai.
On page 19, the voice of Adonai. The voice of Adonai kindles flames of fire. The voice of Adonai convulses the wilderness. Adonai convulses the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of Adonai caused hinds to calve and strips forests bare. While in God's temple all say glory. Adonai sat enthroned at the flood. Adonai sits enthroned, sovereign forever. May Adonai grant strength to God's people. May Adonai bestow on God's people well-being. Now turn to page 20, and we will do L'chal Dodi. And our minhag is we do the first, the second, and the last verse. L'chal Dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nikabela. L'chal Dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nikabela.
Sham Dodi Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala P'nei Shabbat Nikabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala P'nei Shabbat Nikabela Shamor V'Zachor B'Dibur Echad Yishmi'anu Elham Yuchad Adonai Echad U'Shemo Echad L'Him Tiferet V'Lehila L'Echad Dodi L'Echad Dodi Likrat Kala P'nei Shabbat Nikabela L'Echad Dodi Likrat Kala P'nei Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechum ucha, Ki im yor habracha, Mirosh mikedem nafsucha, Sof maaseh b'hamar shelila. L'chal dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nikabela. L'chal dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nikabela. Boi v'shalom asher bala, Gam b'simcha u'salacha, Tenem emunei am segula. Boi kala, L'chal dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nikabela. L'chal dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nikabela. Not as good as Rabbi Janice, but it wasn't bad. Page 24, we will sing Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashoret, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bokim l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלאכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Seisem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim kadosh baruch hu. Do they sit for the Hatzi Kaddish or do they stand?
We stand.
Please be seated.
Thank you, Jackie.
I should have told you to sit before. Page 26, the Chatzi Kaddish. Yiskadal v'yiskadash shemei rabbah, b'alma divrach hirutei, v'yamlich malkutei, b'chayei chon uv'yemei chon, uv'chayei dekol beit Yisrael, b'agala v'zman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorah, Le'olam le'olmei olmaya, yitbarach, yitbarach v'yitabach v'yitbar v'yitnaseh v'yishadar v'yishalev v'yishalal shmei dekudisha b'richu le'elam min chol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemota daimiran b'yalma v'yimru, amen. Now turn to page 28 for the Borchu. Please rise if you're able. Good. Borchu et Adonai hamevorach, Baruch Noi hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Amen. Leave the doors open. Page 30, the Mariv Arovim. I will read it. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv arovim. Please be seated. And on page 34, Jackie will lead us in the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
And page 36, I will read the V'ahavta. V'yahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol miyodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bom v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'aderech uvshachpecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beinenecha uksaptam al mezuzot beisecha uvisharecha leman tizkaru v'asichem es kol mitzvosai v'chayisem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzetzi eschem eretz Mitzrayim l'chayos lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Why don't we read it in English, all of us together? You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
Thus
You shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God.
I am Adonai, your God,
who brought you out of this land of Egypt to be your God. Adonai, your God. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Now we will turn to page 40, and we will sing together Micha Mocha. Turn to page 42, and we will read the Hashkivenu responsibly. I'll start with the first two lines. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace, and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed.
Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help.
Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow.
Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful.
Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Okay. And now to page 44. Please rise if you can, and we will sing Vishamru.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael es ha-Shabbat
lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim.
Amin. Asa Adonai, Asa Adonai, et hashamayim et ha'aretz, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat, lasot et hashabat, v'dorasam berit olam.
Uvayom
Hashvi, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat, lasot et hashabat, v'dorasam berit olam. And now we come to the Amida on page 46. We will sing the opening prayer, and then we'll read from 47 to 62. Read it in Hebrew, read it in English. Think of any thoughts that you have, and when you're completed, sit down. Adonai Sefer Tatifat Ufi Yagid Tehilotecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Okay, at the bottom of page 62. Oh, say shalom bimramo. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru, Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael.
Not on. Oh. Okay. I've been doing it backwards all evening. It's kind of how my whole day's gone. Actually, a couple of days. But that's all right. That's another story. Anyway, the way I talked Fred into doing this with me was I agreed to do the drosh. Thank you, Fred, by the way, for doing this with me. Okay. So this week's Torah portion is called, and this is a mouthful. I'm hoping I'm getting this right. Beha alotcha. Alotcha. I don't know. It's a mouthful. Numbers 8:1 through 12:16. If you really want to go look it up, you can all figure out how to say it too. Anyway, in this week's Torah reading, God instructs Aaron concerning the tabernacle menorah lighting. The Levites are initiated into the tabernacle service. The second Passover is instituted. And at God's behest, Moses makes 2 trumpets and is instructed how and when to use them. The Israelites leave Mount Sinai and proceed towards the land of Canaan. I'm not done yet. The people complain about their boring manna diet and receive a meat supplement, albeit with a tragic result as God caused a huge wind to bring an abundance of quail from the sea, and those who ate gluttonously, I love that word, died of overeating. Moses appoints 70 elders to assist him in bearing the burden of leading the people. And last but not least, Miriam speaks negatively about Moses and is punished with leprosy. In short, this parsha is kind of all over the place with a lot happening that doesn't necessarily seem to belong grouped together. And we're going to talk about why that is. So what is really going on here? Beha alotcha truly illustrates what happens when we put our individual needs before those of others or the group. Winston Churchill is credited with saying that a pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity, and an optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. This parsha is a Torah portion of both difficulty and opportunity. So let's list again some of the key events in the sequence in which they are told in this parsha. 1, the Levites prepare for a service in the tabernacle. 2, the commandment to offer the Passover sacrifice is given. 3, the cloud and fire that accompanied the Israelites during their journey in the desert is described. 4, God commands the blowing of the trumpets in the Israelite camp. 5, the structure of the camp is described. 6, Moses invites his father-in-law to join the Israelites on their travels. 7, the Israelites complain about the lack of meat to eat, leading God to send an excessive number of quail into the camp as retribution. What on earth do these things have to do with each other? Why are they grouped into one parsha? It is and was not intuitively obvious to me in my reading while preparing for tonight, and I was quite perplexed. Happily, much smarter people than me, like Rabbi Seth Farber, have some explanations for this. They believe that each of these moments represented either a challenge or an opportunity for the Israelites as they began their second year of wandering in the desert following the Exodus. Furthermore, in a public lecture in the 1970s, Rabbi Joseph Soloveitchik suggested a unified theory of Parshat Beha'alotcha. He suggested that in the year following the Exodus, the Israelites were beginning a grand march, and that each of these elements was a part of their preparation for entering the land of Israel. First, the spiritual leadership of the people was preparing for its work. Then the Passover sacrifice, the reminder of the Exodus, is introduced. Then the march actually begins. The trumpets stand ready, the camp is set up to go, and Moses symbolically invites the nations of the world, his father-in-law, to join. To a large extent, the redemption was upon them. But then disaster strikes. The people complain, and God exacts punishment. That was the quail. Rather than seeing the opportunity that lay before them, the Israelites were too concerned about their immediate and largely individual needs. They simply were not cognizant of this historical moment that they were facing. And so the redemptive moment passed right in front of them. This is the great tragedy of Jewish history. Opportunity knocked, but the Jews did not recognize its significance. The missed opportunity in Parshat Beha'alotcha becomes even more striking when looking closely at the language of the text itself. The complaint of the Israelites is described with an adjective, in Numbers 11:1. Quote, "The people took to complaining bitterly, ra." This bitterness stands in direct contrast to the vision that Moses articulates to his father-in-law upon inviting him to join the Israelites. Please join us, Moses says, for the good, hatov, that God will give us. It will be good for you as well. In fact, variations on the Hebrew word tov appear all throughout Moses' invitation. For Moses, the Grand March is an opportunity for the realization of all things good. The land of Israel is a place that sanctifies life and is a place of the ultimate goodness. Moses sees this as something that everyone and all should have access to. But the Israelites see only the bad, and from that moment, they miss the opportunity. Everything turns bad. Later in the book of Numbers, when the spies return from scouting out the land of Israel, only two, Joshua and Caleb, describe the land as good. The others describe the land as bad. In short, once the Israelites put their individual needs before the needs of the nation, their entire experience is colored. Bad, bad, bad. How does this relate to us today? We live in a remarkable era of opportunity and yet also difficulty. Using Churchill's perspective, will we choose to view all of this as pessimists or as optimists? Yes, we still have strife and hunger and evil and more. And we may not always know the best way to capitalize on the things that are good in our world. Nevertheless, it behooves us to recognize all the good, all the tov that our era has enabled us to achieve, and not let small moments and amounts of bitterness, of ra, take away from our march toward a better future for us and for future generations. And with these thoughts of goodness, I bid you good Yom Tov. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
It's, you asked me to do it. It's my pleasure and my honor to do this with you. But you didn't tell me it would be so easy with Cindy here with the music. It really makes it easy.
It does. She does a great job over there.
She sure does. We'll turn to page 253 for the Mishaberach. And may the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless these members of our community. Robin Cohen, Raul De Silva, David Hayes, Diana Heller, Rob Hirsch, Penina Collicant, Barbara Kurtzman, Kit Levine, Sharon Maslow, Rick Moss, Dave Podolsky, Margaret Schmidt, Elliot Schwartz, Cheryl Shalhoub, Melanie Spielman, and Joan Bloomfield. Are there any other names in the congregation? Mr. Barrick? Okay. Send them all comfort and relief speedily in our days, and grant them a complete healing of body, mind, and spirit. Blessed are you, source of life, who helps bring light where there is darkness and healing where there is brokenness. Now on page 253, Misha Barak. Misha Barak Avotenu Mechor HaBracha Imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage of blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Bera Imotenu Mechor HaBracha Amotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Now turn to page 258, where we will read responsively a prayer for our country. I will start with the first two lines. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection.
Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need.
Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth.
May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideal.
Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion.
Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you.
May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen. On the next page, I will read a prayer for Israel. O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread it over the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. And now I will call on our president and co-leader of the service for announcements.
Well, Shabbat Shalom again. Nice to be here this evening.
I don't think those are announcements.
Oh, there's birthdays and anniversaries on here.
Oh, she's got them on her.
Yeah, it's my cheat sheet. All right, so we have lots of birthdays. So happy birthday to Steve Weiss, Jackie Zucker, Barbara Kurtzman, and Wendy Liris, Linda Baker, and Michael Aroner. Michael, happy birthday. Nice of you to join us to celebrate. Well, close enough. And then anniversaries. Oh, Cindy, you and Adam, happy? Today, actually, and you're here. Okay, yeah. Mine was yesterday, and I couldn't convince my husband to come either, so. All right, Steve and Sue Weiss, Carrie Freitas and Jared Field, Howard and Sylvia Drucker, Chip and Barbara Kurtzman. All those June weddings, my goodness. They're all over the place. Happy anniversaries, happy birthdays if anybody's out there in Zoom land. Congratulations. Roomies and Zoomies, right? Isn't that what Rabbi Janice used to call them? Roomies and Zoomies? Okay. That's that part. And now I need my magic phone here to get some dates for everybody. So upcoming, we have a book club on Tuesday, June 28th. Havara also on June 28th, one in the morning, one in the evening. Is that right? They're both on the same day? Yep, one in the morning, one in the evening. We have just a little bit of the free Passover food in the back. Don't leave without some. And boy, that's about all we have coming up for June. But you should put on your calendars, if you don't have it, we have a bat mitzvah coming up in July on the 15th, I believe it is. I'll check the calendar, but it is on the COT calendar, and that's Ariella Trinidad, so you don't want to miss out on, that's our last one for quite a while, so you don't want to miss it. Melanie?
Hot Rose at my house. And it will be a fun event. Are you going there?
I'm coming too.
Huh?
I'm coming.
Good. Okay.
So there's two reasons to go. It's at Melanie's house, and Frida will be there, so you don't want to miss it. Those are all the announcements I have. Good Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Well, my thing didn't print, but we have to do Eleno.
We do have to do Elena.
Yes, I will do Eleno, which we'll find it on 270 something.
I think that's correct, yes.
Is it on page 282?
Okay, the first one to find Elena yelled bingo.
Page 282. Rise, please, if you're able. Okay. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, lotzeis gedula liotzer breshit, lo asanu goyei haratzos, velo samanu gemishpachos hadomah. Shelo som chelkenu kohem, vigor aleinu kichol hamonom. Anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech okei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. And on page 287, V'ne'emar Yadonai L'melech al kol haaretz Bayom hahu Yiyeh Adonai echad Ushemo Echad. Please be seated. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty, but soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our lives are full. But as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down in gutters. There is an end to the flames, we see no more, and no more are seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory, slowly fading into darkness. With our lives we give life, Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. We're at that part of reading the names of the yard sites for this week. This Shabbat, we remember Rachel Geiser, friend of Jackie Zucker, Esther Goldberg Stone, mother of Rudd Stone, Peter Feldman, brother-in-law of Hilary Steiniger, Linda Gerstein Feinstein, cousin of Leslie Kasanoff, Sanders Levine, uncle of Rick Moss. And we remember John Wheaton, friend of Joel and Diane Kessler, who passed away this week. And we take into our hearts all those who have no one to say Kaddish for them. Does anybody here have a yard site? Well, then I guess I will light the yard site candle. Is there a wick in here?
I can get it out with my nails.
Okay. It's going to be close enough. We stand. Please rise if you can. On page 294 will be the Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah v'yalma divra chirutei v'yamlich malkutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dekol Beit Yisrael ba'agala v'isman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah Mavorach le'olam omei omaya. Yisborach v'yishtabach v'yispo'ar v'yisramam v'yisnaseh v'yishadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudisha b'richu la min kol berchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabba min Shamaya v'chayim oleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromov hu yaseh shalom oleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Now we will turn to page 322 for our closing hymn, Ein Kelohenu. Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkenu, Ein Kemashiachenu, Mikadonenu, Mikemalkenu, Mikmoshiachenu. It's a little different than Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkenu, Adonai, Enke Eloheinu, Enka Adonai, Enke Malkeinu, Enke Moshiach. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for bearing with us.
Thank you.
Okay.